The following segments are pre-recorded and sponsored by Longworth Productions.
Major funding for Triad Today comes from Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina, making healthcare better for all. Jet Zero on Triad Today. Hello everyone, I'm Jim Longworth and welcome to another edition of Triad Today, coming to you from the Kernersville Auto Museum. Check out the museum. It's free to come in here. We'll tell you more about it later on. And later on, when the roundtable shows up, and we'll get into all sorts of controversial topics. So stay tuned for that. I hope you'll be here with us for the entire half hour. And we want to start, though, is talking about a fine organization that does so much to help so many kids with Crosby Scholars. With me right now on my immediate right, Angie Murphy is Director of Development for Crosby Scholars. Richard Watts, Assistant Director of Outreach for that fine organization and community partnership. Good to see both of you.
Thank you.
Richard, let me start with you. What's the mission of Crosby Scholars, if you had to just put it in a nutshell for somebody?
Yes, sir. The mission for Crosby Scholars is for grades 6 through 10 to recruit, retain students to help them figure out their pathway for beyond high school, whether it's for college pathway, two-year pathway, or certificate pathway. But our goal is to help support our students and families to figure out what that pathway looks like for each individual student in Forsyth County schools.
And it's just in the Forsyth County schools right now, right?
Well, we still have two other counties. We're also in Iredell County and Rowan County.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Now, how are students selected to participate in this program, and what's expected of them?
Yeah. Well, students it's self-selected. We want every student to apply, and it's simply like a one-page application, and there's no, quote, criteria to be, quote, join Crosby. Now, once you're accepted into our program, then we do ask that you would have 2 hours of community service every year.
Right.
Do one we call academy, which is a 90-minute class, and then also no out-of-school suspensions.
Right. Well, as it should be, and I love the community service aspect of that. Before I get to Angie, one other thing, Richard. What ways do you support the students and the families once they come into the program?
We have, again, from grades 6 through 12, different programs to meet the students where they are. In middle school, 6 through 8, we're mainly trying to do career exploration, tone in their skills in how to be successful at school, whether it's time management, how to understand your schedule, those kind of things in middle school. And then high school, we begin to focus more on, okay, what is your pathway looking like? So if you're looking for college, we do the ACT, SAT. If you're looking for a community college, what does that look like? So we then do more, like this summer we took a tour of Vulcan, to kind of see there are things you can do with a 2-year degree.
Absolutely, and all pointed toward teaching good life skills too.
And everything's free, excuse me.
And everything's free, it is.
Yes, sir.
Angie, you recently completed a capital campaign. How much did you raise and how will those funds be used?
Do you know, we just recently completed that capital campaign and raised $10 million.
Wow.
We began that campaign just right after we all were in learning about COVID.
Mm-hmm.
We had a very wise cabinet that said, even though we didn't know at the time what COVID was going to be like, we saw the disruption in education.
Absolutely.
And felt like we should continue on with that campaign. And it is going to programming. We created a new portal, self-facing portal for our students, very much like what they'll use when they're in college.
Right.
And scholarships and last dollar grants.
Well, now you have an event coming up on September 9th very quickly. What is that?
That is our, we have 2 fundraisers a year. The golf tournament in May, that is a legacy of the Crosby Celebrity Tournament.
And this one's what, Birdies and
Brunch, and it's a women's only event, September the 9th at Forsyth Country Club.
So I can't even come. And up on, I don't know why you're laughing, Richard, neither of us can come. Up on screen, Birdies and Brunch, Tuesday, September 9th, Forsyth Country Club. You can go to crosbyscholars.org for more information. You can also, and I want to thank the good folks at Kate B. Reynolds Charitable Trust, and their website is up there, kbr.org. We only have like a couple seconds left, and either of you can answer this. How important is support from folks like Kate B. Reynolds?
They have been a tremendous supporter of Crosby Scholars since we began 33 years ago, and we are grateful for their partnership and the vision that they give us and what their focus is that aligns with ours.
It really does. Great mission for all of you. And Angie and Richard, thanks so much for everything you're doing for so many people.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this.
I am so
Why
frustrated.
can no one help me?
Waiting is the worst. I think it's healthcare is broken.
At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina, we get it.
Really?
Really. That's why we're making healthcare better for all. Starting with you. Yes, you, Daryl. We're making plans easier to navigate by putting your benefits, prescriptions, and details all in one place. Convinced?
No. But it's a start.
We'll take it. Blue Cross North Carolina. Making healthcare better for all. Starting with you.
North Carolina's economy is growing, bringing new businesses and opportunities. The need for electricity is growing too. At Duke Energy, we're meeting the challenge, providing even more electricity that's cleaner, reliable, and that stays affordable. We're getting out of coal and reinvesting in our communities with a diverse, balanced mix of energy sources and making targeted upgrades to the grid so that North Carolina can thrive in a smarter energy future.
Back now on Triad Today. Always glad we can spend a few minutes with the good folks from the city of Winston-Salem that do so many things for all of us behind the scenes, but we're going to put them out in front of the camera today. On my immediate right, Jelani Biggs is Director of Human Relations. Pat Pate, our good buddy, is City Manager of the city of Winston-Salem. Welcome, gentlemen. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to be here.
And Jelani told me that his name in Swahili means mighty, mighty strong or something like
Mighty
that.
in the highest.
Mighty in the highest, okay. I have a name, but I'm not going to tell you what it means. It's I think it's weak man. I think weak white man, I think, is my code name. All right. So anyway, Pat, let me start with you. I want to talk about something kind of serious, but it's interesting about human relations, because you sent me an email. So let's talk about human relations. Why did you want to focus on that?
Well, human relations is such an important topic for us in the city, and I'm really excited to bring Johnny in he's just started this last month with us here at the city as our human relations director, and will have the opportunity to focus on trying to make sure that everybody in the community can come together and have a voice with city government. And he'll be focusing on, he'll talk a little bit more about a lot of the policies that they deal with in the department, but it's just an important topic for us as a community.
Jelani, what's the overall mission? I know that you and I talked off camera. You and I both are born and reared in Winston-Salem, so you've got a love for the community, but what mission does your department have?
Sure. Some of the primary focus areas of our department, in a nutshell, are respect, engagement, and access. And we do that through various divisions. So we have a fair housing and landlord-tenant mediation division.
Okay.
We have a language access division. We have a non-discrimination ordinance division, and also a people and culture division. So in a nutshell, you can kind of separate those between kind of our compliance work and our education and engagement work.
Right, and just take one of those examples, one of those divisions. Give me an example of the way you can help people.
Sure, so let's talk about our fair housing and landlord-tenant mediation program. It's one of our kind of foundational programs as a department. From that, we've launched and expanded on some other areas of focus. But in that, if you feel that you've been discriminated against based under the protected classes of the Fair Housing Act,
right,
you can come in, we can do proper intake on that, and we can fully investigate a case for you for free.
So people aren't alone. They know
That's
they
right.
can come in and you'll be there and have their back. I understand you're hosting a big event on September 6th. What's that about?
Sure, so glad you asked.
All
It's
right.
our international...
Well, he told me to ask about it.
I thought it came from
All
you.
right.
It's our International Village Food and Music Festival.
Cool.
So it'll be fun for the entire family. That's going to be on September 6th, as you mentioned.
Right.
From 12 p.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay.
At Winston Square Park. We're expecting over 30 vendors, city departments, nonprofits, small businesses. We'll also have music.
Just like it says, food and music.
That's right.
Learn about different
That's
cultures.
Right. That's right.
That's really cool. I'll put that up on screen just a second. What's gratifying to you about your new job?
Well, I get to help folks. You know, it's been a through line of my municipal career, from my time in the city of High Point to coming back to Winston, where I was born and raised. We get to serve folks. We get to make city service accessible and help folks move forward in life, improve their quality of life.
Yeah, just a good hire, good decision. I know you're glad with the direction that department's going in, Pat, right?
Absolutely. We're just so excited to have Johnny back with the city. He's been in the city before, so he's coming back home, and we're just excited to have him here.
Absolutely. All right, now let me, as I promised when Jelani mentioned this, let's put this up on screen. International Village Food and Music Festival, September 6th, 12 to noon p.m., Winston Square Park. You can go to cityofws.org. I want to save a few minutes. I almost forgot this because you and I talked, Pat, before about the parking app. Are people going to have to use that when they go to this event?
You know, I appreciate you asking that, because you do not have to use the parking app. On weekends and after 5, parking in downtown along our city streets are free. So you can come downtown, you don't have to worry about parking, and you can come to this event or many other events and restaurants in our downtown.
Well, there you go. Because I was concerned, because you and I talked about that before on the air about that. Hey, look, guys, Pat and Jelani, thanks for all you're doing to help people. I really mean that. And will you let this gentleman come back sometime? We'll talk about some of these other divisions.
Absolutely.
All right.
I'm glad to do that.
All right. Thank you. We'll be right back after this. Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you that Triad Today also airs on GTN Spectrum Channel 13 and streams on WFMY Plus, free on Roku and Amazon Fire.
The world's brightest are Fulbrights, Goldwaters, McNairs, and Spartans. Prestigious doesn't have to be expensive. UNCG, find your way here.
Back now on Triad Today, and it's always a pleasure to visit with the good folks from Shift Ed, and especially the lady who runs it. Wendy Poteet is here with us, President and CEO of Shift Ed, and we thank you for dropping by.
Thank you for having me.
Let's remind everybody who maybe hasn't tuned into the show so far, what's the mission of Shift Ed and who do you serve?
Our mission is to boldly accelerate student potential, and we believe we can do that and change our community through diverse educational and workforce pathways.
Now, we hear a lot about workforce development these days. We have guests on from community colleges, we have guests on from various organizations and nonprofits. Everybody's talking about workforce development. How does that link in with education and what you're doing and trying your focus on schools?
So workforce development is really about ensuring that our students have those critical skills to be able to compete for the jobs of the future. For me, it also means exposure, because a kid can't aspire to be what they don't know. So it's about that exposure as well.
And that's the difference, because you emailed me one day about something called the talent gap versus the exposure gap, right?
Exactly. And you hear people talk about this talent gap all the time. And I can attest to working with these kids every day. They have the talent. What they don't have is the exposure to know all of the different diverse opportunities and possibilities that are out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, give me a specific or an idea or something about how Shift Ed supports workforce development in the public schools. Give me an example of how that happens.
We have a great relationship and partnership with Guilford County Schools. So there are two kind of things that we do. The first thing that we do is called a U-Science aptitude assessment.
U-Science.
U-Science. It's the science of you. What are you really good at? Like, what is your aptitude and what can you be really good at just innately because of who you are?
Right.
And that assessment is used to determine educational pathways or workforce pathways and industry clusters for students. We then take those assessments and place them on a Your Path career discovery platform.
Wow.
And those assessments and their workforce pathways are paired with the industry that are on that platform.
So how old would a kid be? I know you have, a lot of people think when we've had you on before, they say, oh, that's the lady who's head of the organization that helps high school kids get into college and do scholarships, which is true. But you're helping kids from all the way from pre-K on up, right?
On up.
So what you just mentioned about the U-Science app and doing some assessments, does that apply to just a certain age group? Is this just high schoolers or who gets in on that?
So the U-Science assessment is given every year, 7th grade, 10th grade.
Okay.
So every year when we have graduation, starting last year, we'll have 5,000 kids that will have taken this assessment and know what their educational and workforce pathways look like. And
Okay.
we can help them figure out, what does that look like going into high school? The U-Science assessment helps Guilford County Schools create the career development plans that were mandated by the General Assembly.
Right.
That they have to have a career development plan going into 9th grade, and we help the school district to create those as well.
So going back to what we were talking about with exposure, that's all going to circle back into that, because if the schools then react to your assessments and the curriculum catches up to where it needs to be and the kids are involved in getting exposed, maybe that can put them on a path they haven't thought about before.
Absolutely.
Before time runs out, now how can local businesses support workforce development in our schools. I know a lot of people have talked about internships and people have talked about early college, and there's all sorts of things out there to help kids. How can local businesses get involved with what you're doing?
I think specifically for Shift Ed, we would love to see more industry and more business on that Your Path career discovery platform. It gives students that exposure that they need, a day in the life. What is it like to work in health sciences or advanced manufacturing? It also builds those relationships with students much earlier, and relationships move at the speed of trust.
Yeah.
So if a kid trusts you at Cone Health, at Bloom Construction, they're more likely to look for work when they come out of school in those particular industries if that's where their workforce pathway fits.
Absolutely. I want to put up on screen the general website, shifted.org. Please take a look at that. Go through. There are all sorts of portals you can go to learn about programs and scholarships and things, because a lot of times when you come on and some of your team that reports to you, we talk about scholarships. That's very important too. And I just appreciate all you're doing. Let me ask you a favor. Will you stay over for the roundtable?
Absolutely.
All right. Wendy Poteet. Thanks. We'll be right back after this.
I got free meals. What do you mean? No, seriously, how much did you pay us? I didn't pay anything. I learned how to cook all of these fresh foods that were delivered to my house. Everything in that grocery bag that's fresh, I had a recipe for it, and I know how to cook. It encouraged us to eat better, to shop better, make better decisions.
Now boarding zone 3.
Back now on Triad Today, and Kevin Baker was going to be here from PTI. He had a funeral to go to. We mentioned on the show before that the Honorable Jim Melvin had passed away, and there was a funeral and memorial for him. So we think about the Melvin family, and we will miss Kevin. But we have Julie Felger with us from Jet Zero. She's head of government affairs. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
By way of what country? Tell people where you were born.
I was actually born in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
It was formerly called Rhodesia, so
That's
I have
right.
a Rhodesian passport, but
Right.
when I left the country, it was called Zimbabwe.
All right, there you go. Now, so it's an international show now. Triad Today. All right, folks that don't know, tell them what Jet Zero makes and what's so special about the jet.
Great. I'm happy to do that. So Jet Zero is making a large commercial aircraft. And what's different about this airplane is that it's called a blended wing airplane. We call it an all wing. So instead of the standard tube with attached wings to it, the entire body of the airplane is a lifting body. So it wants to fly, and that's what makes it more fuel efficient. That as well as the
very
materials that it can use.
aerodynamic, and it's just so
Super
cool.
aerodynamic,
What
yeah.
What a cool design. Now, when this gets up and running, how many passengers typically could go in a Jet Zero, and what range can it fly?
So our Z4 will be our first commercial aircraft. That'll be around 250 passengers. Of course, the airlines can change the configurations around how they want. And when you think about this airplane, the easiest way for a passenger to think is we can go transcontinental, we can go transatlantic
Right.
with the airplane as well.
Now, why did Jet Zero select the PTI campus and the Triad? What made us a good choice over all the cities that really wanted you?
Well, I think that you all should be super proud because we did do a nationwide search, Jim, for this, and we started out with about 30 different locations around the United States, narrowed it down, and finally had about 3 finalists, and PTI just really kind of came to the top. And it was really a combination of the location, the work that Kevin had put into making sure there was great site availability, and then, of course, what we were able to accomplish with the state of North Carolina in terms of incentive packages that they were willing to offer. And then you also have a phenomenal labor force
Right.
here and a terrific education system, and that goes from your high schools to your community colleges to higher ed.
Right, because they're putting so much emphasis on workforce development, as we've covered in this show and many others as well. And of course, so you're sort of indicating at the state legislature was pivotal in this too, right?
They were.
Now, when will you begin hiring locally, and how will folks know when that happens?
So we will start hiring locally next year in 2026. What we're really waiting for is there's a building that's being refit, a temporary office building that's being refit for us at PTI. When that's open, that's when we'll be ready to bring employees in. So think probably second quarter next year into third quarter is when we'll start hiring.
Let me put you on the spot here since we just met. I'm curious because I think I saw something in your resume that you had worked for other airlines and in the industry.
Yes, sir.
So at what age did you develop an interest in the aero industry?
Well, I think the first time I ever stepped on an airplane, obviously was young, but the first time I flew internationally was when I was about 6 years old.
Wow.
And we came to visit the United States, and we stopped in Rio de Janeiro on our way here. And so I've had a love of aviation ever since then. And my true passion in life is travel and going and exploring different places. And there's only one way to really do that, and that's on an airplane. Right, so it's a wonderful industry for me to be in because it's a passion fit as well as an academic fit and pure interest fit.
So what's gratifying to you about this?
Well, I think that that's a wonderful question because it's all about reindustrialization in the United States. And I'm a very proud former employee of Boeing as well for many years.
That's right.
And I think it's important to do work that it gives back to the communities that you live in, be that national, state, or local. And in this type of industry, you're doing that all the time. You're providing people with a safe method to travel. You are providing thousands and thousands of jobs.
Absolutely.
And you're really having an impact on the global environment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I just think it's great. Up on screen, you can go to jetzero.aero for more information. That's on screen. And also a salute to the folks at Fly at PTI. You can go to flyfrompti.com. Please do that. And to Julie for all you're doing, and thanks for being here, and thank all your folks on your team for coming here. We appreciate it.
Thank you. We're excited to be here.
All right.
Thanks.
We'll be right back after this. Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you to catch my column Longworth at Large and Yes Weekly every week. It's available throughout the Triad, or you can go online, yesweekly.com. Major funding for Triad Today comes from Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina, making healthcare better for all. Back now on Triad Today, just about time for the roundtable with a quick shout out to the good folks here at the Kernersville Auto Museum. It's a great place. Visit the website. You can come out here for free and look at all these great cars Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Please do that. Also, a quick note, we're wishing well to our good friend Sheriff Bobby Kimbrough, who's recovering from open heart surgery, and we want to see him back here soon. On my right, but always the political left, Ogie Overman is with us. Of course, Wendy Poteet we held over from an earlier segment. She's President and CEO of Shift Ed. And David Daggett is filling in for Keith today from Daggett Schuler. All right, guys and gals, bowing to political pressure and facing funding cuts, Wake Forest University just shut down its Office of Diversity and Inclusion. Does this decision reflect a lack of courage or a matter of survival? Ogie.
I think they had no choice, Jim. I mean, they've got to do something to keep from getting extorted by this deplorable excuse for a president that we have.
Wendy.
The work is still going to happen. I think people that don't understand what DEI actually means, they're okay with just don't say the words anymore. So I always say let the silence do the heavy lifting and let the good work continue.
Like a racist who doesn't say the N-word and just keeps his mouth shut, but you know that deep down or something. Okay. David.
I agree 100%. I think the DEI is very, very important. The problem is politics has become revenge and retribution. Right. And so you got to duck your head and you got to dodge for survival. I think that's what Wake Forest is doing.
All right, President Trump says that removal of Confederate monuments was the same as erasing American history. Keith and I have talked about this a lot too, and in a way I guess it was. Now he wants the Confederate statue at Arlington Cemetery restored and returned. It's going to cost taxpayers $10 million to do it. Was he right about erasing history, technically, whether you like him or not? And is he right to return statues? Hoagie.
What a hypocrite. What a hypocrite. I cannot believe. Here he goes making the Smithsonian move all these black exhibits because it made slavery look too bad.
Right.
Oh, God.
Yeah. All right, Wendy, what do you think?
I think, as an education proponent, we could take $10 million and teach history in the classroom instead of shining up some bronze statues from some generals who lost, because spoiler alert, they still lost.
Yeah, well, that's true. But be careful what you say around now. Well, this is the South, you know. David, what do you think?
I think maybe at one time we went too far on removing statues and those sort of things.
Right.
However, this administration's gone too far in removing portraits from the Pentagon.
Absolutely.
Putting portraits from the White House in the basement or the back hallways.
Right.
I think I agree with Ogie on this one. I don't always agree with Ogie, but it's hypocritical.
Well, that's all right. Now, Haynes Mall is celebrating its 50th anniversary and touting its safety measures, which include hiring more off-duty police officers, closing at 8 o'clock on weeknights, and in requiring kids under 18 to be accompanied by a parent, an adult. Now, would you like to see all shopping malls adopt these measures, which seem to be working, Ogie?
I was with you until the under 18 accompanied by a parent. Kids, they used to anyway go, that's where they went to hang out,
right,
on a Friday and Saturday
So you don't
night.
like that?
I don't like that.
Wendy, what do you think?
It's kind of depressing that we need police presence, curfews, parent engagement to sell sneakers and pretzels at the mall. And we're not really addressing the real issues. We're just kind of picking on the kids in the hoodies.
Yeah. David, what do you think? Should all malls do this?
I'm a big fan of malls, and I want to encourage and support them to do what they need to do to attract back the audience. Maybe they need to do this to get the publicity to attract the audience back, and then they can start carving it back a little bit.
Last week, syndicated columnist, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right or not, Froma Harap, posed the question, are parents who don't vaccinate their children guilty of child abuse? Are they, Ogie?
I think so. I agree with her. I do.
Wendy?
If you expose your kid willingly to have polio, it's got to at least be like parental malpractice, right? Like your choice, your child, doesn't work for me when your choice could give my child the measles.
David?
So the question, should they be prosecuted for child abuse? The answer is absolutely no. And the reason is, in the current environment, our leadership is saying don't get vaccinated.
Yeah, that's strange.
And what are people supposed to do? Scientific research themselves?
Yeah, dangerous.
They're following leadership.
That's dangerous. Now, finally, and this is a true story, Facebook Marketplace did a report. They say that there's been a 200% increase in women who wear their nightgowns out in public. Guys and gals, do you have a problem with that, Ogie?
Oh, God, yes.
You don't like it?
I mean, what are we coming to?
I feel a little bit embarrassed because Wendy is the president and CEO of a major organization. She just happens to be a woman, so I'm going to have to let you answer this. But does it concern you that 200% more women are wearing nightgowns in public?
Look, people just need to mind their business and let people be comfortable because life is really hard right now. Like, the last thing we should be worried about is the fashion police.
All right, David.
200% of what? That might not be very many.
Of women that wear nightgowns.
But you know, people are starting to wear pajama bottoms out in public. So
yeah, you don't know what I've got on. All right, well, that's all the time we have. Oh, except for this, the Social Security Administration just turned 90 years old, which soon will be the minimum age you can get benefits. Did you like that?
That's pretty good.
For all of us here on Triad Today, I'm Jim Longworth. We'll see you next week.